I'd say probably I had an influence on some of that anyway, I would say. I would suspect, because I'm such a nice fella, people like me, you know. And so they're more willing to accept something from the likes of me than they would be from somebody who's not as nice, you know. Okay. No, but I remember when the first night I went in, I did sing in Irish first. Yeah. And you know, most of my singing in the early days would have been in Irish. Well, to a large extent, only. And not completely, but the majority of what I did. So in other words, when I came along, when I was asked to sing, I'd usually sing in Irish. Now I sing in both languages, but I just happened to be at the time in the early days, I suppose, concentrating a little bit more on the Irish language songs. Well, I think there certainly have always been regulars who would sing the odd song in Irish even. You know what I mean? And I know there have been nights where, apart from, let's say, the Seanos Cois night, where you might have, you might just go in and, for some reason or other, it turns out that more songs are sung in Irish than are in English, which is interesting, you know. So it obviously had a spin-off. I think some of the fact that Seanos Cois was taking place as well enabled people to come along and learn some songs in Irish. Like Frank Hart came to one of them at one stage to learn songs in Irish. Yeah. And a lot of other, so that we, like an established traditional singer, you know, with a large and varied repertoire in the English language, had an interest and the humility also to come and learn something else. And he did sing in Irish because of that. And lots of other people that sing now in I keep saying the Góilín, but it should be on Góilín. A lot of the singers that sing in Irish in Góilín now probably learned some of their songs at Seanos Cois, you know. Well, certainly there will be some of them anyway. Yeah. But we, from the very beginning, tried to work in conjunction with Góilín so that the two would mix, and it was a natural thing to do, you know, and to both groups benefit from it, I think, you know. It's a natural thing to happen, I think. Again, I think the two traditions, if you could call them two traditions, mix quite naturally. You know, they've far more in common than they have different. Yeah. You know, so I think it's quite natural for it to happen. Over the years, like, because I started getting involved more in it as well, then I was kind of encouraging that there would be Irish language singers as coming in on the guests as well, and that was quite open. People were open to that idea. Don't think there was any major problem with it. I think sometimes, though, you know, people might decide, oh God, it's the Seanos Cois night, it's going to be all singing in Irish, I won't bother going in. Yeah. That's a little bit disappointing sometimes, because one of the things that I was hoping to achieve with Seanos Cois and Góilín was that both crowds would mix and come to an understanding of each other a bit more, which is healthy. And I think a lot of people do and have done, you know. It also, I think, as well, gives a chance to people that are traditional singers in the English language, maybe, to give them a chance to hear the Irish language songs live, and maybe get an interest to start learning some of them themselves. It's good for the Irish language singers as well, that they're taught that they don't all own the whole tradition, like that they're not the exclusive owners of culture. You know, it's good to teach them sometimes as well. Get myself into trouble now.